Hi, welcome to Review 1 on log functions. Videos numbers 1 to 13, and as in all my reviews, you can treat it as a quiz where you can assign marks to each question if you get it right, and you total up the page. When you get it all done, you total up all pages, and this one is out of 42. Put your mark over 42, divide with a calculator or your pen, and change it to a decimal, and then move your decimal 2 places to the right to get your percent. Here we go. Let's do the review on videos 1 to 13. And the questions are done in order of the videos. Change 2 to the 6 equals 64 to logarithmic form. So the log form, base is 2, and the exponent is 6, and the number is 64, because base, exponent, number is exponential form. In log form, the base goes here, the exponent goes there, and the number goes there, because the log is an exponent to whatever base you have. It says change the log of 27 base x minus 1 equals 3 to exponential form. Again, the base is x minus 1, the exponent is 3, and the number is 27. So here we went from exponential to a log. Now we went from a log going back to exponential. So we got each of these right, give yourself a mark. The log of a number with a base is the exponent of the base. So again, repeat, a log is an exponent. A log is an exponent. Find the value of the log of 9 to the 1/3. So 1/3, let's take 3. If you square 3, you'll get a 9, because that's a 1/3. We need not only a 2, but we need a negative. Another way to do that one would be to let it equal x and change base, exponent, number. So 1/3 is 3 to the negative 1 to the x. 9 is 3 squared. So 3 to the negative x equals 3 to the 2. So negative x equals 2. So x is negative 2. But this is changing it to an exponential form. So here, a log is an exponent. So what power of 1/3 gives you 9? And the answer is negative 2. Find the value of the log of 32 base 2. Subtract the log of 25 base 5. Notice these are different bases. So what power of 2 gives you 35? So it's a 5. What power of 5 gives you 25? So it's a 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So give yourself a mark if each of these questions are right. Number 6, the f of x equals 3x. Find the f to the negative 1 in log form. So this is an exponential, so the f to the negative 1 is going to be a log. So that means we change the y, change the f of x to a y. We switch inverse, we switch the y and the x, because there's a reflection in the line y equals x, so y becomes x, x becomes y. So this is the exponential form. So in log form, the base is 3, the exponent is y, and the number is x. So that becomes f to the negative 1x, that's what the y is, log x base 3. So the inverse of an exponential is a logarithmic. Now we want to graph these, so let's do x and y. And we have this graph. So what I'm going to do is go back and look at right here. Notice in exponentials we put the x in first to come up with the y, but in logs it's easier to put the y's in first and come up with the x's. So let's go with negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So put a negative 2 here. 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over 3 squared, 1 over 9. Negative 1, 3 to the negative 1 is 1/3. 0, 3 to the 0 is 1. Put a 1 in, 3 to the 1 is 3. Put a 2 in, 3 squared is 9. So we graph each of these. So when y, or when x, let's do the x, when x is 1/9, which is, take approximation, we get a -2. When x is 1/3, y is -1. When x is 1, y is 0. X is 1, y is 0. When x is 3, y is 1. When x is 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. When x is 9, y is 2. And there's the graph. Again, just a rough. And it goes on. Okay, and in this relation to the f of x, which is the log form, the domain is the x's, and the x's are the set of all x, such that x is, notice x is going to be greater than 0, and x belongs to the real numbers. So greater than 0. And what we do here, in log, whatever expression is right here, we let it's going to be greater than 0. So x is greater than 0 for the domain. The range is the y values, and the range for logs is always the set of real numbers. For every log equation, the range is real. And the asymptote is the vertical line. And so if it's greater than 0, the asymptote is that x equals 0. So 3 marks, 1 mark if you have this right here. And for the graph, if you have the table of values, you get a mark. If you draw your graph, you get 2 marks, so that's 3. And for each of these, if you get them correct, give yourself a mark. So that's 12 marks total for this page. And hopefully everybody is going okay. Number 7, the g of x equals the log of x minus 1 base 2. Find the g to the -1. And notice that this is a log form, so the inverse is an exponential. So we change the g of x, which is the y, to log 2x minus 1. So the g of x becomes a y. Now we change the y to an x and an x to a y because of the reflection in the line y equals x. Now, exponential, the base is 2. This is the exponent. Sorry, this is the base. So it's base exponent number. And what I like to do, I like to look at it from this point of view. The log of 2 y minus 1 equals x. I'm used to having a log on the left side, but don't make any difference. The base exponent number. There it is. And now 2 to the x plus 1 equals y. So y is the f to the -1 of x. And we have 2 to the x plus 1. So if you have this and you have this equation and you change it to this form, so 1, 2, 3 marks total. Number 8, the f of x equals the log of -2x minus 6 base 7. What is the domain? Well, the domain is when you have this expression, 2x minus 6. The domain is the values of x, and the values of x are always greater than 0. So -2x is greater than 6, divided by -2. So let's go up here. X, that cancels. And that's 6 divided by -2 is -3. And what happens is that because you divide an inequality by a negative number, the greater than becomes a less than. So if you have greater than 0 there and you solved it correctly, so 2 marks total. And the equation of the asymptote is, if that's your domain, your asymptote is a vertical, so it's x equals -3. Remember, we put a -3 right here, Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So making this equal to 0 gives you your asymptote. But if you make this equal to 0, you're going to come up with a negative 3. So negative x equals negative 3 is your asymptote. So you get a mark for getting this one and a mark for this. Oh, two marks here. One for this one and one for this. And one mark for x equals negative 3. Number 9, y equals the log of 7 and the base is half x plus 3. Find the values of x. So the values of x are in the base. This is the base. So the base is greater than 0 and the base is not 1. So that means half x plus 3 is greater than 0. That means a half x is greater than negative 3 multiplied by 2. 2 times a half is 1. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So, and you get a b is not equal to a half x, or b is not equal to 1. Sorry about that. So we go a half x plus 3 is not equal to 1. So that means a half x is not equal to 1 minus 3. Half x is not equal to negative 2. Multiplied by 2, x is not equal to negative 4. So if you have those values of negative 6 and negative 4, give yourself a mark. Number 10. The h of x is an exponential function. If the range of the h of x is y, set of all y's such that y is less than negative 2, y belongs to the reals, then the h of negative 2, it has a domain. Well, the domain of the range of the h of x is the domain of the inverse. So that means we have y's go to x's. And there it is. Just switch because we reflected in the line y equals x. Oh, that answer should go right there. And the range for this is an exponential, so the f to the negative 1 is a log, and the range of a log is a set of all y's such that y belongs to the reals. And the asymptote here, the domain is x is less than negative 3, so the asymptote is x equals negative 3. And you get 1 mark, another mark, 3 marks in total. Number 11, find the f to the negative 1. That's the inverse. If the f of x is x, 6 raised to the x minus x plus 2 minus 4. So this is an exponential, so the inverse is going to be a log. So we change the f of x to a y. We switch the y's and the x's. So make sure f of x is a y. Change the y to an x to a y. Now we got to solve for y. Notice y is in the exponent, so we got to do a log. But before we do a log, we have to move the minus 4 to the left to make it plus 4. And the reason is that we have a base, and we have an exponent, and we have a number. So we have log, base is 6, the exponent is 3, and the number is x plus 1. So again, this is the exponential. We want to log base, exponent, number. And we want to solve it for y, so the log base 6 of x plus 4 minus 2 equals y. Move the 2 over and make it minus. So in the inverse function, we have y is f to the negative 1 of x. So we have log 6 x plus 4 minus 2. So we have the inverse. This is an exponential. The inverse is a log. And if you did that, you got one mark. If you rolled it here, you got another mark. If you rolled it right here, you get another mark. And if it got as far as here or right here, then you have a Zinder. So 4 marks in total. So 14 total for that page. Let's continue. Number 12. Find the p of -1 of x if the p of x equals a half the log of x minus 1 base 3 plus 5. So the p of x is a log, so its inverse is going to be an exponential. So you change the p of x to a y. And we're reflecting in the line y equals x, so we change the y to an x and an x to a y. So now we have this solved. So first thing I do is I got to isolate and have the log of y minus 1 base 3. So I got to get this expression by itself. So we take the 5 and move it to the left side. Make it a minus. We multiply by 2. So 2 times x, 2 times 5. 2 times a half is 1. And now we have a base exponent number. So the base is 3. The exponent is 2x minus 10. And the number is y minus 1. So base exponent number. And so now we have 2x minus 10. That minus 1 becomes a plus 1. And so we have the y, solve for y. So the f to the -1 of x is equal to 3 to the 2x minus 10 plus 1. So this is a log. This is the inverse, which is this exponential. And if you have this right here, give yourself a mark. If you have this, give yourself another mark. If you have, that's 3 marks. If you have this, you get another mark. So there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have this answer, give yourself 4 marks. Now, let's look at the graph. The graph of f of x equals the log of x minus 1 base 2 plus 3. This is a log. So what I do is I change the f of x to a y, because I'll graph in terms of x's and y's, because the f of x is the y value. And so what I do is that so I look at the equation y equals log 2 x. That's the basic equation. So this base is 2. So y equals log x base 2 is the basic equation. In relation to the basic equation, we have x and y. So what happens, this log equation here, this basic equation is 2 to the y equals x, base exponent number. So in exponentials, you fill in the x to get the y. In logs, you do the reverse. You fill in the y's to get the x's. So look at the y here, 2 to the y equals x. So fill in the y as -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So if you fill in y as -2, 2 to the -2 is 1/4. -1, 2 to the -1 is 1/2. 0, 2 to the 0 is 1. 1, 2 to the 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So this is the basic table. So now we have to look at this equation. So we're looking at the table of values for y equals the log of 2x minus 1 plus 3. When we do that, we look at what we call the mapping rule. So this is x comma y. This is for the basic, and it's mapped to. So when you look at this, this is an x minus 1, so the opposite is an x plus 1. And when we look at, that's the x, And now the y is no change because this is 1y plus 3. So this is y plus 3. So when we look at that, and I just get a little bit lower here. So we take these x or y values and sub in here. Let's look at the x's first. So we take the 1/4, put it in, x plus 1/4, or sorry, 1/4 plus 1 is 1 1/4. X is a half, so a half plus 1 is 1 1/2. X is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. X is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. X is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. And now we're going to do the y. So y is -2. -2 plus 3 is 1. -1 plus the y's. Oh, right here. I was putting it in here. -2 is going in here. Just be careful. Y is -2. -2 plus 3 is 1. -1 plus 3 is 2. 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So notice they're going up by 1. So we look at the graph, or we have this table of values now. So when x is 1 and 1/4, probably right here, y is 1. We just take the next, x is 1 1/2, 1 1/2 is halfway in the middle, so we get y is 2. When x is 2, y is 3. When x is 3, y is 4. X is 3, y is 4. When x is 5, when x is 5, right here, y is 5. When x is 5, y is 5. So there it is. So you can see that your graph is doing this. There it is. And notice that we have the vertical asymptote. Notice this equation is x minus 1. So that means that x minus 1 got to be greater than 0. That means that x got to be greater than 1. And that means the asymptote is x equals 1. So the asymptote is a vertical line going down through here. It's a dotted line. And that means the graph goes down, 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 getting closer and closer. As y goes to, we say, negative infinity, x is going to 1. So there's the asymptote at x equals 1. And we have 4 marks. You did the table of values for the basic, you get a mark. If you did the mapping rule, you get a mark. If you did this table of values, you get a mark. If you did the graph, you get a mark. 4 marks altogether. 8 for that page. Okay. Hope everything is going well. Just 2 more questions. That ends the review on the videos 1 to 13. Find the value as an integer. This means find the value of x as an, find the value. It's not an x, no x in there. Find the value of this expression as an integer. So 3 to the watt power gives you 81 is 4. 1/2 to the watt power gives you 8, so 2 cubed, so that's a -3. So the negative of a -3 is a +3, so that's a 7. So if you have a 4, you get a mark. You have a -3, you get a mark. And if you did the opposite to get the 3, picked up a 7, 3 marks altogether. So we have to find the value as an integer. And number 15 is solve for x. Again, we have a log form. So in log form, this is the base, this is the exponent, and this is the number. So we change that to an exponential, base, exponent, number. So that's x plus 4 is the base, exponent is 2, and the number is 4x plus 13. We're going to square this. So we take the x and square it, x squared. The product is 4x, so we double it. And 4 squared is 16. and it equals the right side. Now you can square this also by going x plus 4 times x plus 4 by FOIL. Now we have a quadratic, so we'll move all terms to the left side. So the 4x goes over to become negative, 13 goes over to become negative, and we add up the like terms. 8x minus 4x is 4x, 16 minus 13 is a plus 3. And the quadratic has two values, so x squared is x and x. Factors of 3 are 3 and 1. Product is positive, sum is positive, so it's got to be positive 3, positive 1. Multiply, 3 and 1 is 3, add 4, perfect. And we let each of them equal to 0 because there's two possible answers. X is negative 3, x is negative 1. So now we have two answers, so we have to check the answers. So we're going to check, we're going to take the x minus 3 and check it. So 4x plus 13 is 4 times negative 3 plus 13 is negative 12 plus 13, 1. Okay. Now we're going to check it here. So x plus 4, we're going to put a negative 3 in. It gives us a 1. So remember that this, when you do this right here, this has to be greater than 0. When you do it here, it has to be greater than 0 and not 1. This is a 1, so even though when we did it in the x plus 1, this is okay right here because it's greater than 0, but when we did in the base, we got a 1, so that means no, we can't use the negative 3. So let's check x equals negative 1. So 4x plus 13 is 4 times negative 1 plus 13. Negative 4 plus 13 is, and that gives us a 9. Okay, now we're going to take x plus 4 and check it. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. Okay, so the answer to this problem is negative 1. X is negative 1. Negative 3 is a solution to the quadratic, but it's not a solution to the equation. And if you have this equation right here, give yourself a mark. If you have this one, you give yourself a mark. If you have these two, you give yourself a mark. If you checked it and got a no, you give yourself a mark. And if you got this one right here, you got a mark. So 5 marks all together, 8 for that page. So that ends, you total up, go back to the first sheet, which we did, and you total up all the pages. When you total up all the pages, you put your mark over here and you convert it to a percent. Hopefully you did well and you understand the videos on this unit that I done for you. And if you didn't, go back and look at some of the videos to make sure, because you need to know how to do the content in videos 1 to 13 to go further. And if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button if you wish. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, videos, and the content. That's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.